Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the March for Our Lives from Monterey. It's really heartening to see so many people out here in support of sensible gun legislation in our country. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alex Judd. I'm a student over at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies here in Monterey. Before coming here as a student, I spent some time teaching self-defense and working with the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office. On 2 occasions, I've had the opportunity to assist with active shooter training for police personnel. Now, when you're working with students and teachers, the go-to tasks are run, hide, and fight. First order of business is to get as far away from the incident as possible. If that's not doable, then you shelter in place and barricade yourself. If that doesn't work, then you fight tooth and nail to get out because your life depends on it. For responding officers, the go-to thing is that the first person on site is the first person through the door. There's no time to wait for backup to arrive when lives are lost every second. Now, if sensible gun legislation can reduce the number of active shooter incidents by 1, or reduce the mortality rate of an incident by even 1 person, then it would be criminal not to act. Now, every time we have an active shooter situation occur, the standard response has been to offer thoughts and prayers. And who can blame people for offering thoughts and prayers? It seems to be an active response when you're facing something that's so unspeakably horrible. But when we're talking about elected officials who have the power to act, we need to pair their thoughts and prayers with action. We're out here today to demand that our legislators enact sensible gun legislation to protect innocent lives. And at the same time, we're here to unify as a community, to break down the toxic narratives that drive young people to see engaging in mass slaughter as a possible action. Now, we're here today to tell our legislators that if they don't make the legislative changes we need to see, then we're going to see some changes in the legislators we elect into office. Thank you all for coming out today, and we're going to get started in just a moment. But first, I'd like to announce again that this is intended to be a peaceful demonstration. We're going to be walking from here to Colton Hall, and when we reach there, we're going to have a selection of speakers to talk to us, including former Middlebury professor and current California State Senator Bill Monning. When we make our way over there, we should do so on pedestrian pathways, engaging with pedestrian laws. We're going to keep this as peaceful as possible, make it a good assembly. Now, when we arrive at Colton Hall, we'll have a couple of tables set up. If you are 16 or older and you are a U.S. citizen, you can register to vote. We'll have a table set up so you can do that if you'd like. We'll also have a table set up with postcards so you can write your elected officials. And Senator Monning's office has asked that we remind you that if you write a letter to your elected officials, please include your full contact information so that they can send you a response and record your announcement officially.
Are we walking on the sidewalk next to the screen or on the bike path?
We will be walking on both. If you look around you, you'll see some people wearing yellow reflective vests. These are route monitors for the day. If they give you directions, please listen to them. Their role here today is to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. Now let's get out there and march for our lives.
We have a medical person here. We have perhaps a medical emergency. Can you lead us to him?
Closer to the mic. Put the mic closer to your mouth.
Someone over here that requires yes to talk into it. Our medical staff, you could come forward. I also wanted to make sure everyone's signed in. If you didn't do it before we leave today, we'll have sign-in sheets over there. Please donate as well so we can keep in touch about future actions. As important as today is, what we do tomorrow. It's not on? It's on. What we do today is important. What we do the rest of this year is also important. So please sign in, please donate, and you can do, we're just about to leave. And the sign-in, the donation, the postcards, voter registration will all be at Colton Hall. All right, we're going to march safely, and I think we're starting now.
Starting now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello.
We need one of these signs.
There were plenty back there.
What happened?
I said there were plenty of signs back there.
Were there? I've been socializing. I haven't been able to focus.
Right?
What happened?
There were hundreds. You could have grabbed the sign at any time.
It's us if we're going this way. That way.
Somebody push the button.
Thankful there's an arrow.
And how bad would that be if there's like thousands of people here and we don't push the button?
This is a very static march.
This is what protest looks
We're
like.
just hanging out. Don't move that much.
Oh, we're waiting for the rest of the line to catch up. Boy, oh boy, it's quite a line. Not a problem. Trying to get out of your way. There's more people waiting. They may as well just wait right there.
Get across on the other side. We're going to turn. You have no idea.
Good. Yeah.
We'll have to stop. All right, let's do it. Go.
Nice.
All right, Donna, make sure people are safe. Make your choices. Come in, swing in, fill in. Fill in. Fill in as much as you can.
Off the street.
Off the street, yeah. Try and fill in as much as you can.
We're going to do this in sections.
Boy.
They should turn it Alvarado. This is Trigavera. We're going to turn. We're going to go boom, boom. So we're going to go here and there.
We got John Arrows. Let's go, guys. All right, let's go.
Aunt Jo and her, she had herself. Babies? So friendship and baby dogs.
Awesome. Hey, right on. How far back that's going to be? It's an awful lot of lights. They're still coming. All the way down there. Still. Still coming.
Del Monte. Walk sign is on your cross. Del Monte. Del Monte. Walk. 23, 22, 21.
Gun safety.
17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It kind of hurts. This whole light thing. What the what? Oh yeah, cops in the lane.
Hey, Wes.
Nice. Good to see you, Steve. That's you. Oh, no way, push this button. Wow. Oops. Who's gonna go? Who's gonna go? Both sides, huh? Another set. What's this set? Another one. Del Monte and Figueroa.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No, yeah, may as well go.
There instead of...
They're both everywhere because I mean look at how much backlog we got. Enough is enough.
Stop. I hear you guys. I hear you.
All the way down. honkers too. Love the honks. People. Yeah, especially the way we're going.
Black Lives Matter!
How's it going?
pretty good. Right on, man.
I accidentally missed them. It's better if we just wait here.
I didn't wait for the
No, we'll go. We'll go.
Lots over there. Big cars, you can't see over the top. How you been? Nice. Woo, coming out in spades today.
Gun control now! Gun control now! Gun control now!
Right on.
As a little boy who just turned 5.
Which way? David?
Good, they're alternating, that's the way to go.
Silence! The fire.
Glad they went to alternating.
Little big town. Woo!
There we go.
There they are. I like that one. That's cute. Yeah. Yay! They're right there. Looks like Elliot might be taking a nap. Hey!
Come on. You wanna wait for it, the whole life cycle? Okay. sun.
I love that one. Take it right out of the last day because it's snowstorming.
We gonna wait a whole nother light cycle? Okay. Somebody forgot to push the button. Oh, it's funny. Double. Maybe.
Get this on the news. Send it to the president. Read.
Ooh, bubbles. That's the funnest. Nice. That's the second dog I've seen with sandwich sign. That's doing good. Hey! Finally made it through the crunch here. You're not even halfway yet. Or are we close to the end? Maybe. I think I see if people actually is ending. Oh, here we go.
No more guns! No more guns! No more! I don't want to die!
Wow, time goes by fast. 42 minutes fast. Mystery. Another second. Right on. Stragglers of last. Yay, trolley! It's gotta be us. We gotta be done after this. I love seeing so many friends. I like what? Yes, sir. You're welcome. Ooh, there you go. Wow, actually made it to the end. Very well.
Panda for peace. I think that's it.
Just about, yeah. One last set.
How many, Wes?
Oh man, at least 2,000, 2,500 at least.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more than the time.
Right. This has been 46 minutes and maybe 7 or 8 minutes at the very start. So the thing's been on the whole time ever since Alex started.
Okay, let's go.
Yay!
Then we'll follow those people.
Hey, Wes.
Right on, right on. Good to see you again. Fantastic. Actually made it to the end of this line. Well, I'm kind of sad to see the line go.
It was a big line.
Wasn't it?
Don't get a good count.
Oh, at least 2,500 people.
How much?
At least 2,500 people.
Really? Wonderful.
Yeah. You tell the meter maid to go on a red light.
Go left.
No, well, I guess they can do whatever they want. Huh?
Yeah, no, just let it go. Well, We've got time, like double time. We'd like to get them up to being.
Hey, Ryan, you know what I should say? I love your sign, by the way. Lachlan's like, because she's older, does she Are you on all the other? Let's see if the lady in blue has room for table space.
All right, on the sidewalk, Ken.
Yeah, it's hard. Woo, run out of breath. That's it. The dog will catch you. You better get away. Yes, ma'am, I will try.
I own 5 guns! 5 guns! I have 5 guns! Congratulations! Well done! I'm proud of you! I have 5 guns.
5 guns and a flip the bird. Right. Hey, they say this one. If you're not mad, you're not paying attention.
We know you are.
How do you respond to that when you're yelling at someone and you're out of words at that point? You love me, I do. They're behind us. End gun violence! End gun violence! End gun violence! End gun violence! Let's go.
Twice as always a lady.
Where's Lorena?
She's right there.
Los Angeles. Spring break. And I don't know if you guys understand this reference. Oh, Biggie Smalls song. But I'm here for my children. Your children. And we should always, always put them first. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Guys, if you don't want this human race to end, stop killing the kids.
Okay, this is me and my sister here. We're here from our house. We came here to really not to really get new gun laws because, well, you know, kids have been dying at school, so we kind of want you guys to vote. So, okay.
Belén. Sorry about her. Oh, ya sé. You don't have to press anything. Oh, I don't. Just talking to you. Belén. Hey, I came 20 minutes actually from Parkland is where I live. Hi, I live 20 minutes from Parkland. I'm here on spring break to see colleges, and I just wanted to come to the nearest march possible just to show that there are kids out here who want change now. So go out there and vote before this happens so close to home. I knew someone who passed away. Let's make change now so no one has to face that again. No students should die in the
can get my umbrella, dude.
No?
In the car, dude.
You're a teenager, a child in the audience, and you have not made your way up to this stage. Now is your time to join us. Anyone up here want safety words?
Thanks.
You know what? I will be so mad if I'm 18 and we're still doing this. Get guys off the street. Get rid of the NRA. Make a change. Big change! Students' rights are human rights! Students' rights are human rights! Student 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 rights are human rights! It blows my mind that even now,
Close, kiss it.
even now we have to protest the murder of 17 students. We shouldn't have to do that. This should be a matter of morals, not a matter of political parties.
Very well.
Okay, I'm going to extend this over to this young man over here. I think he wants to speak. Power to the children!
Please make students action to gun sense.
Thank you guys for being up here. I think we want them to hang out. We're going to start our program.
So we're going to start with our speaker series in just a moment. If anybody for any reason needs to use a restroom, we have one available off to the side on this direction. And please squeeze in as tight as you can. We have one speaker and a whole lot of people, and there are still marchers coming in. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Senator Bill Monning.
Thank you all for being here today. Let's thank the young people for leading this movement. Hope springs eternal, and hope is nothing unless we turn it into direct action. I want to start by acknowledging that today, March 24th, is the anniversary of the assassination of Archbishop Oscar Romero while he delivered Mass in San Salvador. I mention it because he was killed with guns, supported by the U.S. government. And it's part of a culture of violence that continues. Shootings in our schools are what capture headlines, the horror of the tragedy of young innocents being shot down. But it's a manifestation of a gun culture, a culture of violence that needs to stop, not just on school sites, but in urban communities, in rural communities. Gun violence is part of our culture. It was started by people. We're going to end it with people of conscience and people who put morality ahead of profits. Do you know that more people in the U.S. have died from gun violence since 1968 than every U.S. soldier killed in every war, including the Civil War? More have died from gun violence. We say no more, 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 no more. Thank you. Let me just by saying, you know, many say this shouldn't be about politics. It shouldn't be partisan. But friends, we live in a very political society, a political culture, and a political culture that the NRA has been able to dominate to the detriment of the health and safety of our communities. And the solutions are going to be marching in the streets, raising a moral voice, and taking political action. And I think it's important to distinguish between elected representatives who have fought and voted for gun control and those who have sold their souls to the NRA. As I came over here, I listened to articulate, passionate young people, many from Florida, some from Chicago, from around the nation, speaking in Washington, D.C. We are among 800 demonstrations on the planet today. The demands raised by the Florida students are background checks. We have those in California. A ban on assault weapons. We have those in California. A ban on multi-ammunition clips. We have those in California. And the list goes on. The reason we have that in California is because we have majorities who voted for it in the face of NRA opposition. There is no single law, there's no group of laws that will end the violence. But combined, if we change law, we change minds, we change culture, and we embrace a culture of love, unity, and support, even for those in our communities who may be struggling. We need to join hands. We need to embrace the alienated student whose resort now is to pick up a gun. We need to spot that student, embrace that student with love, and provide the services. And to close, we don't need to arm our teachers with guns. We need to arm our teachers with pencils and pens and school supplies. And we need to arm all of our teachers and our communities with a moral compass that says, down with guns, up with the human spirit, protect life, advance life. Thank you. Si se puede.
Let's hear it again for Senator Bill Monty. Now next I'd like to introduce to you a man named Tyler Williamson, a local activist and the co-founder of Indivisible Monterey.
So I'd like to start by just recognizing how powerful it was to hear from some of the students that are up here behind me. I mean, what better way to start this, right? So there are over 700 of these events going on around the world right now in 6 continents. So we're not standing alone. And this is how change happens. Standing here with our friends, our families, and our community. Students shouldn't have to be fighting for their lives. They should be focusing on school, learning, and getting prepared to be productive adults. Mass shootings aren't new, but in recent years they've resulted in more deaths. listening to the stories of the students from Parkland breaks my heart. This experience goes to teach us that we have to fight for our lives, and not by raising our arms, but by doing what we're doing here today, by raising our voices. I shot guns before when I was in Boy Scouts, and when I spent a short time in the Navy, I had to get my qualifications. That was on a gun range, away from the public. We're not asking for the repeal of guns from every single person, but at least we have to move the ball forward somehow. Let's take some steps forward. And so how we can do that is by holding our representatives accountable, because we're their boss. So I'm speaking to all of you that if you are not registered, you need to register before you leave here today. I particularly speak to the youth that are here today. So if you do not know this, California changed its policy so that you can pre-register when you turn the age of 16. Who here is under the age of 16? Let me see, show your hands. All right. When you turn 16, make sure you register to vote. Who here is between the ages of 16 and 18? Okay, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Out of you, which one of you have not registered yet? Have not pre-registered? Keep your hands up if you have not pre-registered yet. All of you need to pre-register before you leave here today. And let's say everybody over the age of 18, raise your hand. Register to vote, put your hand down. If your hand is still up, you need to be registered. Lead the way for these kids so that they can set the right example. I want to thank the youth for coming out here today and hosting this event and using their energy to really motivate us to come together as a community. I'll end with, I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Now next I'd like to invite up to the front Debbie Aguilar, an activist and a founder of A Time for Grieving and Healing.
Over there. She's to your left, in the center.
Here we go.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me? Well, yes, my name is Debbie, and I am here to support every young life here today, all the little ones. I'm a mother. I've been to school. My children in Salinas. I come from Salinas, California. A few moments away from here in the rain, because I believe all lives matter. My son's lives matter. He was just 18. He used to be afraid of going to school. The worst fear a mother can bear. So my prayers, which I believe prayers help, because that's how I am here today, strong and supporting. But then, faith without action is dead. You all of you here. My son Stephen. They say I don't need to say a word. A picture says 1,000 words. 18 years old, but I'm a mother who has lots of children in Salinas that I call my sons and daughters. I'm active in the high schools. They are afraid to go to school. My own child. How does that make a parent feel? To know your children are afraid one day that they can have more than a threat, more than a social media threat, but real gun violence. Kids are taking guns to school. As you may know, Salinas has no shortage of gun violence. I stand here today, I do vote since I was legal to vote, so vote, vote, vote. Guarantee unity, continuity, keep it going, keep it strong, keep on marching. God bless you all.
Let's hear it for Debbie. Now next I'd like to pass things off to Jack Kraft, a student from Marina High School and a student activist.
We may have to quit. Oopsie. Go quick, go quick!
No better way to our First Amendment at work. Seeing people peaceably assemble like we are here today shows how free our country is. We are out here today in honor of those who have died and the families of those who have died in these preventable tragedies. We are also here to send a message to politicians that we are done with mass shootings and to say that enough is enough. The shooter at Stoneman Douglas could have been stopped. He had a history of violence. He was expelled from his school, and police were called to his house dozens of times. He wasn't even allowed to carry a backpack because they thought he would be carrying a gun. Yet, after all of this, this is drenched. Yet, after all of this, nothing was done. And at the age of 19, after a long history of mental illness, he was able to buy assault rifles. That's a big problem. But we can no longer wait for politicians to push to solve this problem. We, the students, and we, the people, must do it ourselves. The school I go to, Marina High School, recently had a shooting threat. It was for March 14th, the day we were holding our walkout. That wasn't the first time we've had a threat. And in most cases, a lot of students end up staying home because they're worried about something happening. When we can no longer pursue our education because of fear and terrorism, we are not free. When the terrorists live their lives to kill and destroy our country win, we lose. When students like me and my friends cannot receive the education that they need to lead a successful and productive life, we all lose. What kind of country do we live in where students are afraid that they might be killed at school? The schoolyard isn't a battleground. This isn't some far-off foreign besieged country with constant violence and shootings. This is our community. These are our schools. These are our kids. This isn't a distant problem. This is right in our face, and we can't ignore this. Politicians are afraid of addressing gun control because of the NRA. The power that the NRA has doesn't come from only money, but also comes from the fear that politicians have that the NRA will work to get them voted out of office. What politicians should be afraid of is the children and communities affected by these shootings voting them out of office. The government can't put this off anymore. They cannot procrastinate on the future of our youth, especially when it comes to school. That's our job. To Congress and the President, we are not just some statistics. We are your children. We are your family. Your thoughts and prayers are no longer enough. If these kids dying makes you as angry as it makes me or anyone else, then you'll do something to stop it. There's no point in getting angry at something if you're not going to help fix it. We need better background checks. We need to raise the age limit to purchase guns. We don't need assault rifles, which are weapons of war plaguing our communities. And we sure as hell don't need the NRA in the pockets of politicians quietly controlling gun laws. Country isn't a battleground either. Our hearts and souls go out to the victims and their families, but I'm tired of praying. Let's use our thoughts to get something done. The time for change is now, so let's get to it!
Thank you, Jack, for that empowering speech. Now next I'd like to introduce a man who goes by the name Stephen Goings, though some of you may know him as Quasar. He's a board member for the Monterey chapter of the National Coalition Building Institute and an advisor to the CSUMB NAACP. So everyone who's still here,
to say power, young people! People! I'm going to do another one. This is the call and response part of the event. I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! I say all lives matter when you say black lives matter. All lives matter when? Black lives matter! All lives matter when? Black lives matter! All lives matter when? Black lives matter! Thank you. So I'm going to start with some completely outrageous claims. The first claim, of course I can't see anything, right? Right. My first outrageous claim is that the Parkland shooting is part of the legacy of slavery.
Right.
The second outrageous claim is that it is within the power of millennials to dismantle America's gun culture. So why does, so there's all these terrible statistics, right? So America is 5% of the population. We own 50% of the guns. There are 10,000 homicides in America each year. There are 20,000 suicides in guns in America each year. 60% of African American women who have been shot by police were unarmed. This very week, at the start of this week in Sacramento, a young black man, 22 years old, was shot in his grandmother's front yard.
Backyard.
The backyard, thank you.
There you go.
The police thought he had a gun. He had a cell phone. So why, here's the question, why does America have the largest prison center in the world? The most imprisoned people. And why does America have the greatest number of gun deaths in America? The answer is simple. What we have been told about the Second Amendment is a lie. It is very like the Declaration of Independence, which said that all men are created equal. Yay! 11 years later in the Constitution, Article 1, African slaves were counted as 3/5 of a person. Which puts the lie to that lofty rhetoric about all men are created equal. Well, what we have been told about the Second Amendment is that the purpose of the Second Amendment is so that we will have a well-armed militia so that we can protect ourselves from a tyrannical government. That is not true. The reason why we had the Second Amendment was so that slave owners could protect themselves from slave revolts. That's the reason why we have a Second Amendment. And so what that really means, and that's the reason, so, and this is how bad it was. So why, it wasn't just a suggestion. White men in colonial America were mandated, were required to carry weapons so that they could catch runaway slaves and send them back. The police, the modern police force is the descendant of slavers. The prison system is the descendant of slavery. This is why we have the largest prison system in the world, and the majority of them are black and Latino people. So this is what is before us. So I want us to see just how big what these young people are taking on. They have the power to completely change all of this. So it's up for all these young people to vote, to know your history, because here's the thing, there's so many white people are now being killed because of a system that was built for black people. White people are now in jail in this country more than they are any other place in the world because of a system that was built to incarcerate black people. So now it's coming home to roost. Now we finally understand that we've all got to be in the same struggle together. So young people, it is your job to keep this history, to know it, to replace the NRA with your own movement. Power to the people.
Thank you, Stephen. Now I'd like to bring things back to another student activist. This one from Pacific Grove High. Miss Green Bunny.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's still here in the rain. Because we'd rather it rain water on us than rain bullets in our school. I'd like to say thank you to all the parents, the students, everyone who cares about everyone's lives in schools and everywhere else for wanting to make it safe. We at Pacific Grove High School, just like in Marina, in Morgan Hill, in North Salinas, also had threats at our high school. And we were afraid for our lives because those threats were targeted for the day of the march on March 14th. But we still continued to do what we wanted to do. And we decided that because we wanted Congress to hear us, not just Congress, but everyone who represents us, we wrote them a letter to educate them on what to do to stop gun violence in America. So I'd like to read this letter out to you today. And just like you guys, just to let you all know, there are postcards that you guys can also send to members of Congress and representatives. Please, register to vote to have your voice heard. It's been said that when your leaders act like children, and your children act like leaders, you know change is coming. 115th Congress is the oldest one in history. Americans are, on average, 2 decades younger than their representatives. We high school students are a whole lot younger still. Yes, age is accompanied by experience, but youth offers a fresh take on an entirely unacceptable pattern. Students are being gunned down in places that are supposed to represent hope for our future. People are being gunned down in places that are supposed to be safe. Conspiracy theorists and gun lobby apologists have denounced Roman Douglas high school students as crisis actors, when in reality, they are crisis activists. Survivors turn anguish into action, exhibiting courage not only on that tragic day, but also especially in the days that followed. On March 14th, students across the nation followed their lead, lending their voices to call out elected representatives for refusing to see the writing on the wall. Meanwhile, detractors distract. They overlook the arguments of student advocates by disparaging the numbers of times we've rounded the sun. Variations on themes of too young to understand politics have flooded the national dialogue.
Discrimination, ageism.
Well, there is one thing that teenagers do understand. Class. Our leaders clearly have not done their homework, so we've done ours. Here is a crash course. Call it Common Sense 101. Math. On average, guns are used to kill approximately 13,000 Americans each year. Between 1966 and 2012, almost 1/3 of mass shootings globally occurred in the United States. This phenomenon is not surprising. There are enough firearms in the U.S. to arm every adult with room to spare. We make up 5% of the world's population, yet we own nearly half of the world's guns. The frequency of gun massacres has only accelerated. In 2017, there were 346 reported domestic mass shootings, nearly 1 per day. Already this year, hundreds of children and teenagers have been killed or injured by a firearm. There have been dozens of mass shootings. These numbers are bleak, but there are paths toward a solution. rounds per minute. Within these self-loading military-style rifles, aim is almost immaterial. In contrast, a musket, the tool that our founding fathers during the passing of the Second Amendment managed about 3 rounds per minute in the hands of an experienced soldier, and its accuracy was dismal. An AR-15 is an assault weapon, not a weapon of defense, nor a weapon of hunters. It is a weapon of war! That's okay, I have more comments.
Oh, you can.
History! Educators teach us that we learn history to avoid repeating it. Yet on April 28, 1996, a man in Port Arthur, Australia killed 35 people and wounded 18 others, with none other than an AR-15. The Australian government, within weeks, worked together to ban semi-automatic and other military-style weapons. They encourage their citizens by creating a nationwide gun-back program to encourage their citizens to freely give up their weapons. And since then, there has only been one mass shooting in Australia with a handgun. Rates of homicide have dropped dramatically. In 2014, a nation of 24 million people
Good job.
There's only been one mass shooting in Australia, but in contrast, more than 500 people in Chicago alone were shot dead last year due to gun violence. That is unacceptable. As for economics, we all know that the NRA has tried to buy our politicians, giving them money to pass gun legislation laws that are not within our interest. It is time for us to vote those people out. Last Saturday, I was fortunate enough to talk to Congressman Panetta. Sadly, he has told us that Congress was not willing to compromise on these gun control laws. So it is time for us, in June 5th, during the primaries in California, and during the midterm elections, on November 6th, to use our voice and to use our power to vote in the people we want, and to vote out the people who are still working for the NRA. It is time for all of our voices to be heard, and the only way that they will hear us is if we all register to vote and use our vote this year. It's time to make a change.
Thank you, Reem. It's young people like you and Jack and people behind me and the thousands who showed up in our march today that give me hope for our future. Now, before everybody gets too wet, I'd like to introduce our last speaker of the day, Justin Loza from Veterans for Peace. Wow. All right, so I wrote a poem from our perspective as Veterans for Peace, and I named it after Bob Dylan's song, The Times They Are A-Changin'.
Here we are in Little Monterey. Our message is clear. Hello. Here we are in Little Monterey. Our message is clear. Not one more. You hear that, NRA? At Veterans for Peace, we fight cultural norms that war brought is inevitable. It is sad that we must turn our focus inward. And of all places, our schools, inconceivable. How can it be that our experiences as combat veterans parallel those of Parkland? Weapons of war do not belong in the homeland. They are here. Oh my connected, don't you see? Politics, economics, and corporate greed. Is this what our founding fathers wanted? No! War and violence has seeped deep into the minds of U.S. citizens, perpetuated by some politicians and propped up by the NRA's ambitions. At Veterans for Peace, we combat veterans know better. In the military, we have M16s. Interestingly, they have an uncanny resemblance to AR-15s, and unfortunately, it's a weapon of choice used by many misguided teams. As veterans, never in our minds could we conceive that weapons of war would end up on our streets. The same ones used in Saigon, Long Bin, Honai, Baghdad, Bagram, Kandahar, Kabul, and many more. It is sad to think that those young souls experienced war in our classrooms. Arms and legs twisted and mangled, torsos orange, baseball, melon-sized wounds. We stand witness to the power of military-grade weapons. We can all agree that the situation is dire, but that is no excuse to start a fire. Right now is the time to inspire.
Very well.
Take BFP's approach and be wise in how you broach. Be open, calm, collective. There's nothing more important than to listen to each perspective. The narrative and myth around the Second Amendment has perpetuated a system of social injustice. The time has come to change the rules by electing courageous leaders to protect our schools. You young people out there, do not despair, for your movement's foundation is strong, and you are right where you belong. Seize the moment, do not forget, this is your country, and the crossroads are coming. Get out and vote and start campaigning, because the times, they are changing.
Yeah!
Thank you, Justin. And thank you to everybody who came out here today. If you haven't had a chance yet, please step on over to the side. You can register to vote, or you can write a letter to your congressperson. This is how we engage in democracy. This is how we make change happen. Now, as a closing remark, I'd like to ask that everybody make an attempt to leave this area the way it was when we came. Maybe a little wetter, but we can just make sure that we pick up our litter. Thank you so much for coming out today.
Awesome.
Wonderful rest of your weekend.
Everybody runs to their car. Run, run! Oh man, that was really good. I love that poem.